Welcome back to the channel, USA Coins 69 Glance. A coin so ordinary that it could be hiding in your pocket change, sitting in a jar at home, or lying forgotten at the bottom of a drawer. Now picture this: what if that very coin, a Jefferson nickel from the year 1972, could be worth a fortune? Yes, you heard that right. Sometimes the most common-looking coins are the ones that hold the greatest surprises, and the Jefferson 5-cent piece minted in 1972 is one of those coins that tells an incredible story. Let's step back in time to understand why the 1972 Jefferson nickel is more than just another piece of everyday currency. The Jefferson nickel series began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Designed by Felix Schlag, the coin featured the profile of President Thomas Jefferson on the front, with his home Monticello on the reverse. The design remained a familiar part of American coinage for decades, making the Jefferson nickel a constant companion in daily transactions. By 1972, the United States was experiencing economic shifts, yet the nickel remained a workhorse coin, circulating heavily in every corner of the country. What makes the 1972 Jefferson nickel especially fascinating is not just its history, but the variations and mint marks that collectors chase after. You'll find that under the date, there may be no mint mark, which indicates it was struck in Philadelphia, or you might see a D for Denver, or an S for San Francisco. Each mint had different production levels and striking qualities, and collectors analyzed them carefully to spot details that make one coin stand apart from another. Mint marks can be the first clue that you might not be holding just any nickel, but it doesn't stop there. Errors and varieties are what transform a simple coin into a valuable treasure. In the world of coin collecting, double dies, off-center strikes, misaligned mint marks, or even unusual planchet mistakes can make a coin incredibly desirable. These small imperfections, invisible to the untrained eye, can turn an ordinary nickel into something worth hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars. The 1972 Jefferson nickel is no exception. Some examples have come to light with features so rare that collectors are willing to battle it out in auctions just to own one. Think about this: millions of these coins were produced and passed through countless hands, spent in corner stores, vending machines, and gas stations. Yet among all those millions, only a handful were struck in a way that makes them truly extraordinary. That's what makes coin collecting so exciting. It's like treasure hunting in plain sight. You don't need a metal detector, you don't need to dig through the ground. All you need is to look carefully at the change in your pocket and you could uncover a hidden gem. Condition also plays a major role. A well-preserved 1972 Jefferson nickel, one that has avoided the scratches, wear, and damage of circulation, can shine like the day it left the mint. When graded by professional services in mint state condition, these coins attract serious attention. Collectors know how tough it is to find coins from the 1970s in pristine shape, since most were used daily without a second thought. That's why a perfect example, gleaming with its original luster, becomes a prize worth far more than face value. Stories of lucky finds are not uncommon in the coin world. People have stumbled upon old jars of change and later discovered a coin inside worth thousands. Others inherited small collections from family members only to realize years later that one of those ordinary nickels was anything but ordinary. The Jefferson nickel from 1972 has been at the center of some of these stories, proving again and again that no coin should be overlooked. So, when you come across a Jefferson nickel dated 1972, take a closer look. Check for the mint mark, examine its condition, and if you notice anything unusual, such as doubling, off-center designs, or a particularly sharp strike, it might be worth far more than you think. While the vast majority of these coins are only worth their face value of 5 cents, the rarest examples are treasures hiding in plain sight. Today, or leave forgotten in their car's cup holder. But what if I told you that one of those ordinary-looking coins, a Jefferson nickel minted in the year 1974, could be worth a life-changing fortune? Yes, the same 5-cent coin that people often overlook could actually hide secrets that turn it into a collector's dream. The Jefferson nickel has a rich history, and the 1974 issue is one of those coins that continues to capture the imagination of treasure hunters and coin enthusiasts all across the United States. To understand why this particular coin is so fascinating, we need to step back into history. The Jefferson nickel first appeared in 1938, replacing the beloved but difficult-to-strike Buffalo nickel. Designed by artist Felix Schlag, the coin featured the familiar left-facing portrait of President Thomas Jefferson on the front, with his Virginia home, Monticello, elegantly placed on the reverse. The design remained virtually unchanged for decades, and by the 1970s it was already a staple of American pockets, cash registers, and piggy banks. The 1974 issue, while seemingly ordinary, has its own set of mysteries and values that make it special in the world of numismatics. Now, let's talk about the year 1974. America was in a time of transition, politically, socially, and economically. Coins from this period weren't just tools for everyday transactions, they were pieces of history that captured the era in their metallic faces. The Jefferson nickel of 1974 came in three main varieties depending on where it was minted: Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. If you look carefully just under the date, you might spot the mint mark. No mint mark meant it was struck in Philadelphia, D indicated Denver, and an S pointed to San Francisco, which mostly produced proof coins for collectors. The presence, absence, or style of that little letter is one of the first details collectors check when examining a 1974 Jefferson nickel, but mint marks are only the beginning of the story. What makes some 1974 Jefferson nickels so valuable are the rare errors and striking anomalies that occurred during production. Imagine a coin being struck slightly off-center, leaving a ghostly blank crescent along the edge. Or perhaps the dies shifted, creating a doubled image where Jefferson's profile or the word "Liberty" appears to echo itself. There are also nickels struck on the wrong planchet, meaning they were accidentally made on a piece of metal intended for a different coin. These types of mistakes are incredibly rare, but when they do happen, collectors go wild for them. Each error turns an ordinary nickel into a one-of-a-kind treasure. Condition also plays a huge role in determining value. Most nickels from the 1970s circulated heavily. They clinked in pockets, rattled around in vending machines, and passed through countless hands, leaving scratches, dings, and wear behind. A 1974 Jefferson nickel in average condition is just worth its face value of 5 cents. But if one has somehow survived in near-perfect condition, with its original shine and sharp details intact, its value skyrockets. Professional grading services carefully inspect these coins, and those graded at the highest levels can bring astonishing prices at auction. Collectors know just how difficult it is to find a coin from that era in pristine mint state, which is why they are willing to pay so much. The thrill of finding one of these treasures is what keeps collectors searching. Imagine pouring out a jar of change you've been saving for years and spotting a 1974 nickel. To the untrained eye, it's nothing special. But under a magnifying glass, you notice doubling on the date, or perhaps a misaligned strike. Suddenly, that 5-cent coin transforms into a potential jackpot. Stories like these have happened more than once, proving that real treasure can hide in plain sight, and it's not just about the financial value. Coins like the 1974 Jefferson nickel carry a piece of American history. They connect us to the past, to the hands of millions of people who use them in their daily lives. Each scratch, each mark, tells a story of where the coin has been. That blend of history, art, and mystery is what makes numismatics, coin collecting, so addictive and so rewarding. So the next time you come across a Jefferson nickel dated 1974, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look. Check for the mint mark, examine the details, and pay attention to its condition. That little coin could be worth far more than anyone would guess. Today, we're diving deep into one such fascinating piece of American history, the United States Jefferson nickel, the 5-cent coin minted in the year 1973. Now, most people look at a nickel and see just pocket change, something to spend on a small item or leave at the bottom of a drawer, but collectors know that the story behind every coin is far more intriguing. And sometimes, just sometimes, a single nickel can be worth far more than you could ever imagine. Let's take a closer look at this 1973 Jefferson nickel. On the obverse, or front side, you'll find the familiar profile of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and one of the Founding Fathers. His portrait has graced the nickel since 1938, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. Above his head is the motto, "In God We Trust," a phrase deeply tied to American coinage. To the left is the word "Liberty," and to the right, the date, in this case, 1973. Now, the details can vary depending on the mint mark, which indicates where the coin was produced. That small letter, whether it's a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or no mint mark at all for Philadelphia, can play a big role in determining the coin's value to collectors. Turning to the reverse, you'll see Jefferson's historic home, Monticello, a neoclassical masterpiece that has appeared on the back of the nickel for decades. Above Monticello, the word itself is clearly inscribed, while the phrases "E pluribus unum" and "United States of America" frame the design. And of course, you'll see the denomination spelled out as 5 cents. While the design itself is well known, the beauty of coin collecting is that even within the most familiar coins, rare varieties, errors, and high-grade examples can dramatically change the value. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1973 Jefferson nickel so fascinating to collectors. While millions were minted, only a small fraction survive today in pristine condition. Over the decades, circulation wears coins down, scratches, nicks, and dulling of the details are common. Finding a coin from 1973 that still has sharp details, full steps on Monticello, and that brilliant mint luster is truly special. Collectors and grading services often pay top dollar for coins that appear almost untouched, especially those with rare varieties or errors. Error coins are another reason the 1973 nickel can be so valuable. Sometimes coins are struck off-center, sometimes they have double dies, and occasionally they feature missing elements or other anomalies that occurred during the minting process. These types of mistakes transform an ordinary nickel into a rare treasure because they're unique. No two error coins are exactly the same. Collectors often hunt for these pieces because they tell a fascinating story about the minting process itself, but rarity and condition aren't the only reasons this coin stands out. Historical context plays a role too. The early 1970s were a turbulent time in American history. The end of the Vietnam War was approaching, political scandals were beginning to shake Washington, and the nation was undergoing cultural and economic changes. Coins minted during this period carry with them a snapshot of that era, adding another layer of meaning for collectors who treasure them not just as currency, but as artifacts of American life. So, what does this all mean for you? Well, if you happen to have a jar of change lying around, or maybe a collection of old nickels passed down from family, it's worth taking a closer look. That 1973 Jefferson nickel you thought was just worth 5 cents could actually be a hidden gem. With the right mint mark, perfect preservation, or rare error, it could be worth a fortune to the right buyer or collector. And here's the part that will truly amaze you. While the vast majority of 1973 Jefferson nickels are only worth face value, or maybe a few dollars to collectors in decent condition, there are rare specimens out there that have sold for unbelievable amounts. In fact, one such coin has been valued at an astonishing $70,000. Yes, you heard that right, a coin originally worth just 5 cents ended up being valued at $70,000. Today, we're diving into the story of the United States of America Jefferson nickel 5 cents from the year 1985, a coin that hides an extraordinary secret and could be worth far more than its face value. The Jefferson nickel has a fascinating place in American coinage history. First introduced in 1938 to replace the Buffalo nickel, it carries the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, designed by Felix Schlag. By 1985, the Jefferson nickel had already become one of the most widely recognized coins in circulation. Millions were minted that year, both at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, and even some proof versions were struck at the San Francisco mint. To the average person, they all look the same: Jefferson's proud face on the obverse and Monticello, his famous Virginia home, on the reverse. But as collectors know, the devil is in the details. So, what makes the 1985 Jefferson nickel stand out? The answer lies in its rarity when it comes to condition, mint errors, and striking details. While most coins from this year were mass-produced and heavily circulated, a select few managed to survive in pristine condition, untouched by years of wear and tear. Collectors value these gems for their sharp details, glossy luster, and minimal imperfections. Coins graded in high mint state conditions, especially MS67 or higher, are incredibly hard to find for 1985 nickels, making them a hot item for numismatists. Errors are another reason why some 1985 Jefferson nickels have skyrocketed in value. Off-center strikes, double-die obverse errors, and coins struck on the wrong planchet are just some of the varieties that have captured collectors' attention. Imagine finding a nickel that was struck slightly off balance, leaving Jefferson's portrait shifted, or a coin that displays doubled lettering on, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty." These mistakes make the coin unique, and in the coin collecting world, uniqueness almost always equals higher value. What's truly fascinating is how these coins circulate for decades, completely unnoticed. Someone could be carrying around a Jefferson nickel in their pocket right now without realizing they're holding a small fortune. It's almost like hidden treasure disguised as everyday money. That's why so many collectors and treasure hunters spend hours searching through their change, coin rolls from banks, or even old family piggy banks, because you never know when you'll stumble upon a rare and valuable nickel. Now, let's talk about the exciting part, the value. While most 1985 Jefferson nickels are worth just their face value of 5 cents, some have been known to sell for jaw-dropping prices at auction, especially those with rare errors or in immaculate condition. These coins prove that even the most ordinary-looking nickel has the potential to become extraordinary when the right combination of rarity and demand comes into play. Collectors have paid thousands of dollars for high-grade examples, but the ultimate highlight comes from the fact that a single Jefferson nickel from 1985 has been valued at an unbelievable amount. Can you imagine holding something so small, yet so powerful in terms of history and value? It turns what most people see as pocket change into a golden opportunity. So, next time you get a handful of change, don't be too quick to spend those nickels. Take a closer look, inspect the date, the mint mark, and the details of the strike. Because somewhere out there, among the countless Jefferson nickels of 1985, a rare treasure could be waiting to be discovered. And that treasure could transform a simple 5-cent coin into a collector's dream. Today, we're going deep into the fascinating story of the United States of America Jefferson nickel 5 cents from 1979, a coin that carries not only history but also the potential of an incredible fortune. The Jefferson nickel has long been a cornerstone of American pocket change. It was first introduced in 1938, replacing the beloved Buffalo nickel, and has remained in circulation ever since. Designed by Felix Schlag, the coin displays the proud profile of Thomas Jefferson on the front, a reminder of one of the founding fathers and the third president of the United States. On the back is Monticello, Jefferson's home in Virginia, a building that symbolizes both his legacy and American architecture. By 1979, this design had already been in use for decades, making it familiar to generations of Americans. But the year 1979 itself turned out to be special for coin collectors. That year, Jefferson nickels were struck at multiple mints, the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint, which produced proof versions. Millions upon millions of coins were produced, which makes it easy to assume they're all the same. But collectors know that not every coin is created equal. Some of these 1979 nickels stand out because of their condition, their striking details, or even fascinating minting errors. These are the nickels that turn heads at auctions and make collectors dig through coin rolls hoping for a lucky find. What makes a 1979 Jefferson nickel valuable isn't just age. Since they were produced in such large numbers, most nickels from this year are only worth face value. But the ones that manage to survive in pristine condition, without scratches, wear, or dullness, are in a whole different league. Coins graded at the very top levels of mint state, MS67 or higher, are so rare that collectors are willing to pay thousands to own them. The shinier the luster, the sharper the strike, and the cleaner the surfaces, the higher the price climbs. Then, there's the world of mint errors. Imagine finding a nickel that has been struck off-center, where Jefferson's portrait is pushed to one side, leaving part of the design missing. Or a coin with doubled lettering on words like "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," caused by a die-striking mistake. Some errors are even more dramatic, such as nickels struck on the wrong planchet, where the coin was minted on a blank meant for another denomination. Each of these quirks makes the coin unique, and uniqueness in coin collecting almost always means serious value. The beauty of coin collecting is that these treasures often pass unnoticed through the hands of millions of people. Someone could be carrying a 1979 Jefferson nickel in their pocket right now, spending it at the grocery store, with no idea they're letting go of a small fortune. This is exactly why so many coin hunters carefully inspect their change, searching for that one special coin that could change their lives. Now, let's think about the journey of a single nickel. Minted in 1979, it may have been used for decades, traveling from hand to hand, purchase to purchase. Yet, if it somehow avoided the usual wear and tear, if it was stored away safely or struck with unusual precision, it could become a collector's dream. These are the kinds of nickels that make history, because they transform from everyday money into extraordinary artifacts of value. And here's where things get truly exciting. While most 1979 Jefferson nickels remain worth only 5 cents, the rarest examples in top condition or with striking errors have stunned collectors at auctions. They've proven that even a coin so common can hold extraordinary value in the right circumstances. The most thrilling fact is that one of these 1979 Jefferson nickel 5-cent coins has been valued at an astonishing $93,000. Yes, $93,000 for a single nickel. Just imagine that. What most people treat as pocket change could actually be a treasure waiting to be discovered. So the next time you come across a 1979 nickel, don't dismiss it as ordinary. Take a closer look, because you might just be holding a fortune in your hand without even knowing it.